I make sure that I am only managing the things that I'm an expert at. I'm not after perfection. I love making mistakes. Making mistakes is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world because that's the best way for me to learn. Because as soon as I make that mistake, it ain't going to happen again. I'm going to try my damnedest, to not let it happen again. But that's my learning style.
Welcome to the McKinney Podcast, the show that celebrates what makes McKinney unique by nature. This podcast exists to spotlight the people, the organizations, and the events that shape our great city. You can count on every episode to tell a compelling story and help increase your awareness and perspective on what's happening around McKinney. Your hosts for this fun-filled adventure are Fred Mahusay, owner of FredShots Photography, and James Jenkins, CEO of RiskWell. Connect with us on YouTube and on our website, McKinneyPodcast.com. Now, let's get into it. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the McKinney Podcast. We celebrate what makes us unique by nature. Our guest for this show is Mr. Scott Michaels. He is a real estate agent and a big personality too. I have to confess, I don't know Scott. I've never spoken to him before today. This is a Fred and Elizabeth special. You know how we love to tell good stories here. So, Scott, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to see you guys.
You walked in the door. You got the satchel on, the little messenger sling. I'm not really sure what to call that. What do you call that?
My man purse.
Your
I don't know. It's the crossbody bag. Yeah, that was a gift from my wife for Christmas. So.
You got the glasses. You got black on black. I'm just like, okay, I don't know who this guy is, but he's got style.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That kind of effort goes noticed around here.
That's right.
So Scott, what's the story, man? Like what?
Gosh,
what are you into? How'd you get to this point in your career? Here's what this podcast is all about: McKinney people, McKinney things, McKinney businesses.
Yeah. Celebrating
all the cool stuff that happens in the city. Most of all, we love hearing good stories. Like anything that's interesting, compelling, maybe a little weird. The perfect blend of entertainment and education.
Yeah, sure.
Hit us with the Scott Michaels story.
God, I've got so many stories. First off, thank you, Fred. I had to literally back Fred into a corner. I told him, I'm not going to let you up for air until you give me a couple minutes because I was so intrigued by him at my very first chamber meeting because he comes in with all this energy. And obviously, Fred, you've got this big personality too, and this big brand and the successful business. And that is one thing that I'm just always attracted to. I love business development. I love personal branding, and I love connecting with people who are kind of on, the same wavelength as me, because I'm always trying to, share and steal little ideas and, to whatever I can do to, basically help build my brands. But I've got plenty of wild stories, and I know this isn't an 8-hour podcast, but yeah, I mean, like in short, for me, I'm a drummer by trade. Actually, I started playing drums professionally when I was 12 years old because my father was a drummer, singer, band leader, and my mother was a professional vocalist. And my dad's family, Polish, Catholic, Detroit family, 10 kids, all professional musicians. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So like when people always ask me, hey, so when did you decide you want to, play music for a living? I don't even know how to answer the question.
It was decided for you genetically.
Yeah. There was always a studio at the house. Parents are.
It's the family trade.
Yeah. 100%, so that's all I ever did. I grew up doing theater and, playing, jazz and marching band and also gigging, playing, when I was in high school, I would have gigs on the weekend. So that was kind of like my first. If you're a professional musician, you own your own business.
Yeah.
Already.
100%.
Now everybody doesn't think about it that way.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
But like you need to keep in mind that, it's all about relationship building, especially when you're in the higher echelon. If you're thinking about you're a jazz guy and you're going to move to New York and get in the jazz scene, or you're going to move to LA and get in that scene, it's all relationships, At a certain point, it's expected that you can play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's like, are you a good hang?
Yeah.
Are you not going to vibe everybody out? You know what I mean? Are you going to show up prepared? All that kind of stuff. So I did that forever and never had any plans of, getting married or having kids or anything like that. And I just told myself a long time ago, I was like, not knowing anything about money either.
Yeah.
I was like, if I can figure out some way to make $40,000 a year playing drums, then I've done it.
Wow.
Then I've made it.
And you had no idea how low a bar that was.
No idea. Because I also came from a blue collar family, musicians, welders, all that kind of stuff. And,
Yeah.
my parents loved them to death, bless their heart. But, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. They didn't necessarily teach me about, finance or, and anything in that regard. My dad eventually started his own business and like material handling, like pallet rack, wire cage, warehouse storage kind of stuff. So that's where I kind of started to get some business acumen, some business chops from him. And that's when I really started looking at myself as a professional musician, as a business owner. So kind of fast forwarding a little bit, I had done multiple tours of Europe, 8th grade, summer touring with a program called Blue Lake Fine Arts Camp out of Michigan, playing classical percussion, and then going back to Europe again, my senior year in high school, and then my freshman year in college with the same program playing jazz. So at this point now I've kind of like started to expand and look at the music from a business, kind of perspective, which was a total blessing, to be able to do. And then fast forward, full scholarship for jazz studies at Wayne State University in Detroit. I auditioned for this program with Disney called the Disney Collegiate All-American Band. And so I got this gig. They auditioned like thousands of musicians from all over the country, and they built this one 22-piece band to perform at Disneyland in the parks every day. Did that, that was the summer of 2000 when I was 20, came back to college, dropped out of college because at this point, I was like not the best drummer in the program, but I was gigging.
Well, so what was your major?
Night. My major was music education with a minor in jazz studies.
Okay, so you're going to teach.
Yep, and I figured out pretty quickly, after that was not
Yeah.
not something I wanted to do. I just wanted to play.
There's a huge difference between teaching music and being a professional musician.
Sure.
Like playing versus teaching.
Yeah.
Totally different careers. It appeals to different people, different profiles, different personalities. Like, respectfully, I don't see you in a classroom teaching.
No, not
but
at
you
all.
You would have been the cool teacher, though.
Well,
you'd have been the rock on cool teacher.
You're the guy who teaches when he's 65.
Yeah, maybe
and
so.
has done everything.
Maybe
and
so.
can tell stories the entire semester.
Yeah, well, I got inspired. So I had a handful of really good individual music teachers when I was young, but I ended up having this band director my senior year in high school, Carl Poposky. He was a young teacher. He had just graduated from the University of Michigan. The music program that I came from in Wyandotte, Michigan was not like Flower Mound, Keller, these huge McKinney, the 500, we had 75 people in the marching band. You know what I mean? Great, but not like this, everything's bigger in Texas kind of situation,
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this band director come in that was like challenging me and taking the bands to festival and dropping, recording, like check out this, Miles Davis, Milestones record. You need to listen to this. Philly Joe Jones is the drummer. And I'm like, oh my God, blew my mind on that. And I was like, I want to teach. I want to do
with all those jazz time signatures and the da. I'm just it's such a hard time.
No, it's great. Well,
for a drummer.
Yeah, you have to learn how to listen to it, And again, it's some would say the only true American art form.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got obsessed with with jazz and in that style, but I really got inspired, to teach. I was like, I want to give back, what this teacher did for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it only took me about a year and a half of being in school to be like, I just want to gig.
Yeah.
I just want to perform. I want to play with other musicians.
Yeah.
I want to go on the road. I want to tour. I want to do all these things. So fast forwarding after that, I essentially started a cruise ship career. So then I started working for Celebrity Cruise Line, Princess Cruises, and Norwegian Cruise Line, first as a drummer, but then as a band leader and a musical director. And this is where I started my first company with a friend of mine, another musician from Detroit. We started a cruise line booking agency. So we were staffing musicians from all over the world.
Wow.
On all of these major American cruise lines. And we started it initially so that we could cherry pick the contracts that we wanted.
Yeah.
Because the contracts for a musician on the cruise lines it's like 6 months. You know, and it only took me my first 4-month contract to realize this is a little much. You know, it's too long to be gone. And I want to go to the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
I want to go to Australia. So we built this company. So I'm going to go to Australia for 2 weeks. I'm going to go to South America for a month and just kind of move things around. So
let's pause for a second and talk about that, because anybody who's been on a cruise ship has probably wondered, what's it like to work on a cruise ship? Now, I don't mean respectfully, like not the person who's changing bed sheets and whatnot, but like working as talent on a cruise ship. What on earth was that? Was that as insane as I think it was?
Yeah, 100%.
Where you're awake for 20 hours a day, just going hard all the time?
Well, there's not much to do out there, you know?
Yeah.
Besides, you know, play music and party.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
How do you keep your semblance of humanity and, you know, normal life when you're living inside of a bubble like that?
You don't. It's gone. It's totally gone. And living in a bubble is exactly like how I describe it. You're living in a fishbowl. You know, this becomes your world now. You know, relationships develop quickly. You know, you might know somebody for, you know, a week or two, and it feels like 6 months.
Because you're spending 18 hours a day.
Because you're with them all day, you know? So if you, just for example, if you're on a 4-month cruise ship contract as an entertainer, one of the, you know, the singers and the dancers do even longer than that. They'll go out there for 11-month contracts.
Shoot me in the head.
No kidding. Seriously. It's
literally
it's
put me 6 feet under.
Yeah,
I want no part of that.
Okay, so for our friends who are listening and love cruises, we are not trying to discourage you from going on cruises.
No, go do it.
No,
Go
I'm
on
just saying
cruises.
11 straight months on a cruise
insane.
ship.
But bring more energy, excitement, and tips to your entertainers.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man.
So yeah, if you're doing, basically the best way to put it, like this is from my perspective. If you're doing a 4-month contract, the first month you're like you wake up and you're like, we're in Barbados today. Okay, this is you know, and then the next day you're in some other Eastern Caribbean island, or you wake up and you're in Rome, you know, and you're like, this is incredible. Your mind is blown. You know, if you're, especially, I was a single guy. There's just like, you know, it's just that
Activity.
There's activity.
This is a family podcast.
There's activity. So the first month you're like, it's just because there's nothing else to do besides play music, you know, and like maybe you're working 3 or 4 hours a day at most. And so you have lots of time to practice. You have lots of time to, again, I was already, when I was on ships, I was running this booking agency, you know, business at the same time.
And you've been a professional drummer.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to practice.
Well, I would.
Well, you had to rehearse though with the band, right?
Yeah, not so much. On that gig, that when I started on cruise ships, it was basically what I would call a sight reading gig.
Yeah.
Very, very challenging. So for example, this is how it goes. You're on the ship, day one, you don't know anybody, you just met the musical director, and you report to the stage at 2:00 for your first set. And the book of charts is this big.
Oh, geez.
300, maybe more. And the musical director goes, all right, boys, pull chart number 246. And you go, you know, get through the book, pull out chart 246, pull it open, put it on the music stand, and you go, okay, it's a rumba. You notice the tempo marking. You're looking for ensemble hits from the band, reading the roadmap, and then he counts you in and you play it down. Zero preparation.
Wow.
You read the music like you're reading a book.
But you're all top tier talent.
They're pretty good players.
That, you know, and you hit that groove. But are there? So there were jazz pieces, dinner pieces. But what about, like, you know, all the standards? You know, Back in Black, and, you know, and all the other things that you know, all the people want during, you know,
the
during
top
party
40
time.
hits.
Sure.
Right.
Well, that's a different gig. I ended up switching to that later on. So when I got started, they call it like the house band or the orchestra. So you're the utility band on board. So you'll do like small,
little of this, little of that.
Yeah, cha-chas, rumbas, bossa novas, all that kind of stuff. And then you have the fly-on acts. It could be a classical violinist, or it could be a comedian or a juggler, and you back them. And basically, they give you their music. You have a 1-hour rehearsal, and then you perform it later. And then the singers and the dancers, you're doing everything. Later on, because my background in music as a drummer was always more pop and R&B focused. I was raised on Chicago, Steely Dan, Billy Joel, The Police. I love jazz and still love jazz and fusion, but I like popular music.
Pop and top 40.
Exactly, 100%. That's really my bread and butter as a drummer, and now as an owner of a company that performs these super high-end events all over the world. So moving forward in that cruise ship thing, I basically started building these little versions of my band Aura that I have now. My band now is a 12-piece band. I don't play drums anymore. I haven't played drums really professionally in a long time because I'm now the front man, MC, lead vocalist.
Yeah.
So again, all that history and upbringing of pop music has kind of ended up parlaying into that. So at the end of my cruise ship career, I started creating these little 6-piece party bands. So there's your Back in Black. There's your Celebration, of course, and all the all the favorites.
Okay, so what are the other two pieces? Yeah. Obviously, we can think vocal, electric, bass, drums. What's the other two pieces?
In a 6-piece band?
Yeah.
There's
keys.
Yeah, there's a few different ways to do it. So when you have a smaller ensemble like that, 4-piece, 6-piece band, which is again, that's what my parents had, and especially I don't see this as much in Dallas as in Texas now. In Detroit, it's a little different. When I grew up in Detroit playing music for a living, you better sing.
Yeah.
Like, I always sang, but I wasn't singing and playing drums. And I remember my dad, he would just put me behind the kit, 10 years old, 12 years, at one of his gigs. I'd be sitting back here on the drum riser, right?
Yeah.
Like watching his foot, all this kind of stuff. And the band's playing, people are on the dance floor, festival or something, and he'd look over and he'd be like, "Are you ready?" And he would get off the kit and then slide me in, and I would take over, and the whole band, nobody would know. Right?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and then he would go like, "Hey, what are you going to sing?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm not going to sing."
Dad, I'm 10 years old.
Exactly. Like, well, do you want to work or don't you? Do you want to be a professional musician? You better start getting your vocal chops up. So,
wow.
That comes into play. So to answer your question, I'm super long-winded, as you guys are.
That's all good.
I told you we want a good story.
I'm stream of consciousness. So yeah, the 6-piece. If you're going to have a 4 or 6-piece band, everybody best be singing. So piano, bass, guitar, drums, keys, and perhaps an additional, like a female vocalist. That was the genetic makeup of my parents' band when I was a kid, and everybody sang lead. So everybody's required, because having one singer sing all night long, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
If you're Springsteen, or some of these guys that can go out and see Paul McCartney's 70 million years old or whatever, and he's out there and he sings the whole night still.
Yeah. 3-hour show.
There's not a lot of people that can do that.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have a working band that's playing 6 nights a week, this instrument is got a shelf life, so everybody needs to carry their own weight vocally. Now with my band now, it's a 12-piece band.
Yeah.
So the makeup of that band is piano, bass, guitar, drums, me, lead vocalist, girl, 3 female vocalists, dancers, additional male vocalist, rapper, trumpet.
And I was about to say, where are the horns? I know there's going to be some horns.
Bring in the tower power.
Trombone. Yeah, we do tower power. We'll sing. We'll do what is hip.
Yeah, love it.
I'm a Steely Dan, obsessed. The tattoos right here. So whenever I can get away with playing Reeling in the Ears or Peg.
Oh, man.
Or we do Saturday in the Park.
Well, you said Chicago. And it was Chicago had 4 horns.
Yeah. The band was started by James Pankow, the trombone player, and the sax player, Walt Parazater. I could go on and on about Chicago.
I believe you. I'm sorry, but I was born in '84, so I didn't get to really experience them. I'm too young for that. But my parents have excellent taste in music.
Okay.
So, Even sitting here now in 2026, if I'm walking somewhere and I hear dun 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 dun, I'm just like,
Yeah, of course.
25,
Oh, man, that's the jam. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just like, hey, it was saying what 15 years before I was born.
Yeah, that was
like
mid
early mid-70s,
Yeah,
right?
Chicago Transit Authority was the first record that Chicago put out, and they got sued by the city of Chicago. That was the name of the band, was Chicago Transit Authority.
Can't use CTA.
Yeah, can't use CTA, so they became
Wow.
Chicago.
How do I say this respectfully? They don't make music like that anymore.
There's nothing disrespectful about that.
There's a tiny sliver of music made today that is actual music.
I agree.
You know, the Lady Gagas of the world who
Sure.
can an accomplished musician before she was ever a star.
Yeah.
The Chris Stapletons of the world.
course.
You know, there's a tiny fraction of the popular musicians today
Sure.
that are actually musicians in the old sense.
It's just different now, you know. I mean, it's the digital age, and I mean, I'm not a songwriter. I've never dealt with a label. I've never gone down that avenue. But you know, people don't buy records anymore.
Yeah, until they do.
That's
I
right.
got a record player for Christmas, and
do
oh my
too.
gosh,
I love my vinyl collection.
It's great.
It's nostalgic, and there's something about dropping the needle.
It sounds different.
It does sound different.
It sounds organic.
Yeah,
because
I
it
love
is. Yeah.
Well, I used to love when I was a kid, listening to music. I would put on vinyl. Could be again Billy Joel or Police or jazz or whatever with the headphones. Drop the needle, turn the lights off, you know, and just sit.
And
Especially
vibe.
with headphones and just vibe.
Yeah.
You know, on the record. And I don't think, you know, a lot of artists are writing, you know, for the album. And I mean, the majority of like, you know, Gaga's writing her own songs. I mean, Taylor Swift, of course. I love to got to give props to Taylor Swift, but they have you look at the liner notes and look at the songwriter credits.
Yeah.
It's not James Taylor.
Yeah. It's like four different
these
people.
9, you know, writers, which is
Yeah.
all fine and dandy. It's just a different time. But you don't hear popular music on the radio. Like Chicago had trouble, you know, popping in the beginning because even back then, the radio stations were like,
They're not going to play a 7-minute
we're not going
song.
to play, you know, Question 67 and 68, like this whole, you know, thing.
Yeah.
It's that Rush. I'm a huge Rush fan.
Yeah.
You know, same thing. They didn't hit until, you know, Moving Pictures came out, Tom Sawyer, you know, all that kind of stuff because they're doing 2112, you know, these, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a orchestral piece.
The thing about this,
Maybe it's because they were Canadian.
Yeah.
the thing about this story is people may not be familiar with any of those names that you just said, but they're familiar with music.
Mm-hmm.
And music is a universal language. It's almost 0% of people don't like music at all.
Right.
Like music is central to the human experience. It might be, you know, a different genre, different style, different era for everybody, but everybody I know likes music.
Of course.
It's just a human thing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what's your favorite color? Everybody has a favorite
Everybody
color.
has
It's
a
central to the human experience.
Because it creates it creates an emotion.
Yeah, it does.
It's a vibe. It's literally, I think, and now we'll go way down the rabbit hole on this, but like it's a vibrational, you know, thing. Like literally, it's like you can click the mic stand or whatever, the coffee cup, and it's going to create a wave. It's going to create a vibration. And if your body is 70% water, I don't know the math. Our bodies are 70% water. You know, and you're at a concert and you feel that low end going, or if you got the headphones on, it does something.
That low C that vibrates at like 82 hertz or whatever.
Yeah,
and you literally feel your digestive system going.
It's a real thing, bro. It's a real thing that happens.
That was my car in college.
Oh my god!
You had the bass, the cabinet in the back,
I had
kickers.
215s.
Of course you did, Fred.
So tie this back to current evolution. How in the world did you get to McKinney? Why are we sitting here right now?
Yeah, it's so I was wrapping up my days on cruise ships. I heard that Dallas was a really happening music scene, you know, in part because of the University of North Texas. They have the 1 O'Clock Jazz Band, this world-renowned jazz program.
Oh yeah.
You know, I had this dream when I was in high school that I wanted to be like in the UNT 1 O'Clock Lab Band. I realized pretty quickly that my foundation was going to be like in pop music, and I wasn't going to be featured on that. So I heard this. You're in the Bible Belt, so you've got this gospel scene, you got the bluegrass scene, and you've got this huge corporate and wedding, market.
Oh yeah,
which I was also familiar with because my parents,
were gig bands.
They were doing that as well. So I kind of already had that background, and so I heard about another entertainment company, that was down here that was killing it. So I just basically I did my research on them and kind of vetted them. And I literally, so my last cruise ship gig, I was doing 2 weeks in New Zealand, 2 weeks in Fiji, back and forth. I had all this downtime. And so I started planning like this move to Dallas and planning, this working for this company. So I literally packed up my car with my drums, my clothes, my golf clubs, and I just drove to Dallas.
Where was home at that time?
Detroit.
Still Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, south of Detroit, Wyandotte, Michigan. So
Gotcha.
I just kind of like, I had a plan-ish, I had a little bit of money, put away from, the cruise ship, business and everything.
And how old were you at this point?
This was January of 2012, so I was 32.
So I gotta ask, you're a citizen of the world, basically.
Yeah.
You're on cruise ships, literally all over the place. You're a musician. You want to be in the music business. How does DFW get you? You got LA, Chicago, Miami, New York, Nashville, all of these huge music cities that all have incredible opportunities, but they're all obviously extremely crowded.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to make it anywhere. How in the world do you settle in DFW? Because respectfully, I don't think of DFW as a quote unquote music area on the level that those other cities that I just mentioned.
Yeah, it is. I never thought that I would. I've been all over the world, right? But I literally never thought I would step foot in Texas. Like why would I go to Texas unless I got booked for some random one-off gig or something as a drummer?
Yeah.
But it's up there. It's a huge market. It's not as big as New York, Nashville, LA for like commercial music. But again, with the everybody's got a home studio now. A lot of the guys, like the big session players, like the Toto, the band Toto?
Yeah.
All those guys were the top studio musicians in LA, and that's how Toto was formed. And they lived in the studio. They were cutting, 5-10 recording sessions a day. That doesn't really exist anymore like that.
No.
So you can have that from anywhere in the world. Long story boring. Those markets, they are flooded. They're crowded. They have the best musicians that you can find, but they don't really have it as strong or focused market as this like wedding corporate special event band.
I can see that.
They have a lot of it in New York. And
very commercial.
They have a lot in LA. I lived in LA for a couple times too, like when I worked at Disney. But it's a huge, the greater Los Angeles area.
It's a sprawling mega city.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like took a chance, I took a chance on it. And so I basically...
We like taking chances.
That's right.
It's my favorite, man.
We don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
We like building the bridge while we're standing on it.
Calculated risk. Jumping off the cliff and then start building your parachute.
100%. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I just it felt right. When I think back on it now, I 100% do believe like that things happen for a reason. I don't know if things are predestined. I think we're all responsible and we have opportunities to make choices in the moment. What choices you make are definitely going to go off one branch of the tree or the other. And that's just like how I think about business. I think about, I've got this idea, but now and this happens in real time in like seconds. Like if I make this choice, this is going to go down. And when I thought about Dallas, I had time to think about it. And I was like, this feels right. So it was half gut instinct and it was also half planned.
Yeah.
And that was like a kind of a perfect marriage of like building the bridge while you're standing on it and like trusting in the universe a little bit. So I came down and that entertainment company that I wanted to work for, I spent 10 years with them. It was amazing. I learned a lot. I was hired as a drummer and then I became a band leader shortly after that and then put down the drums and started developing this frontman MC singer role. And then I was also handling, quite a bit of sales for them as well.
Sure.
And then over COVID, it was just kind of my time. So I branched off and started my own business, and
Gotcha.
that's kind of, we're getting closer to where I'm at now. But
I was about to say, like, we're 30 minutes into this conversation.
we just skipped 10 years.
Well, we just jumped forward a decade.
We
and we
did.
still haven't got to McKinney.
We
still haven't got to this real estate thing
Yeah.
that you're wearing this name on your chest there.
Yeah, so I eventually ended up getting to McKinney, just totally on a whim. I bought a house in Plano. Now, backtracking just a little bit, I was never going to get married. I was never going to have kids. I was going to make this $40,000, right? I was going to make this $40,000 a year playing drums, and then just randomly met my wife, like literally bumped into her, at this concert, and it was like a thing. It was very, very strange. Again, it was like another gut instinct thing for me. I always end up landing on that. And so I married her a year later, and we had our first child in COVID, second week of COVID. We had our first son, Reed.
What a time to make a baby.
It was great. I loved COVID. It was the best thing because
Explain.
I was home. I was home.
Because our audience is going to be like, wait, what?
No, it was just like, very, very odd timing. And so it was at that point too where I had, started to build my entertainment company as well. Like I still, because of all the event cancellations with COVID, like there was no performances, there were no events. Now Dallas came back, pretty quick with all that. So I was still kind of like, had some loose ends to tie up with clients and all that kind of stuff. And then I started getting this brainchild of like, maybe I should just be, doing this, on my own. And I just had all the time to do it. And this was, but now by this point I had gotten to McKinney. So we bought our first house in Plano. I guess that was 2015, 15, 16, 17, 18. So in 2018, so my in-laws live in McKinney. They're right at El Dorado in Hardin. And we spend like the majority of our time there anyway. So we're like, we want to get the family closer. So I'm like, okay, McKinney, let's move to McKinney. Bought a house in Irwin Farms, brand new build.
Yeah.
Loved it. I still have a lot of really good friends, from that neighborhood, and started renting out, the Plano house. And then the market shot up and we sold the McKinney house and made like a pretty good, made some pretty good money in a short period of time. And that house moved back into the Plano house, and we're still there right now. And like, I'm regretting every day selling that McKinney house.
Yeah.
Because it's worth about $700,000 now.
Yeah.
We bought it for $350 or $370 or something like that. And it's in McKinney.
Instead of Plano.
It's in McKinney instead of Plano, exactly. Case in point.
You know about living in Plano. And
I know well.
Yeah.
I moved from Plano to McKinney.
So we're trying to get back. We're creating a safe space here. We're trying to get back to McKinney. I used to be a member at Stonebridge, and I'm missing that. So as the real estate business is growing, which I'm going into my fourth year of, I'm like, just all of my goals right now are seriously, now that we've got baby number 2, are just built on like, we're shopping for houses every day so we can kind of get back into the area.
Okay, so you started your own entertainment company, which is still going today.
Oh yeah, it's killing it. Everything is great with that. We're being a little more selective about what clientele we're taking. I'm actually trying to not book it as much. I keep like raising the price on it. We performed for City of McKinney Fireworks 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So anybody that was there, I mean, we've been embedded in the Plano, Allen, all of these areas. And again, now that
we prefer to call it the McKinney area,
the McKinney area. But
and our surrounding communities,
selflessly biased or shamelessly biased towards McKinney.
Yeah, forgive me.
It's kind of a running joke on the podcast. We low key talk smack about every other city in the area.
I'm with you.
Just because McKinney is the greatest city on earth.
I love it.
With apologies to London, Paris, New York, Beijing,
Beijing,
Madrid.
Wow.
All the places where you've been.
Sao Paulo.
That's right.
With apologies to these other cities, McKinney is obviously the best city.
Clearly.
On earth.
Clearly.
So
we're on the same page.
Yeah, all we really need are the Olympics here, and we've got the crown jewel of everything at that point.
Yeah, we're in talks with the IOC to bring the Olympics to McKinney.
Who's working on this? Who's spearheading this project?
That's right.
We need some firepower.
That's right. And we have the entertainment all locked up already for for the opening ceremony.
I'm running for mayor in 2037. I'm just calling my shot. 11
great.
years in advance. I may be joking. I don't know. I'm
might
running
be.
for some kind of office in 2037 because that's the first election cycle that my kids are no longer living at home.
Yeah,
they have successfully launched in some way. So yeah, can I pre-book you for some kind of election party? Like 11 years in advance?
Of course you can. And if you need a campaign manager, maybe we can talk about that.
I'm going to manifest it into existence. All these talk of just celebrating our city. I joke, but it's like, this really is a magical place to live. And I'm not at all surprised that you can't wait to get back here.
No, I'm trying.
Because I've never been anywhere like McKinney. It is the biggest small town in the world.
It really is. I mean, you guys, how long have you been in McKinney for?
We've had a business here since 2016. We've lived here officially. Well, I should say we slept here. Because the running joke for the longest time was I live in McKinney and I sleep in Plano.
Yeah.
Because it's like my whole life was up here. My business was up here. Our friends were up here, like everything. But yeah, 2022, we bought a house in Ridgecrest up by 380.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 3.5 years now as a resident of McKinney. We tried to get here for several years before that, though.
So what is it for you? Do you think that really makes, because I'm really curious, I have my own thoughts about what gives it that small town America kind of vibe with, it's a large population.
I think it starts with the attitude that people have, for the most part, outside of the comment section on social media. The people of McKinney are just genuinely warm, hospitable, kind people. And when you add in the irreplaceable stuff, like a downtown that is just
it's the best,
the most exquisite slice of Americana.
It
with
is.
These small boutique shops and restaurants and retail and all this stuff. And you add in all the green space, all the parks, the recreation, and then Adriatico with its like,
so cool
neo-Greek architecture and all that stuff. It's like, I don't know. That combined with the economy being so strong and business growth being healthy, the public school system, great. MCA for private education, great.
Absolutely.
It's like, what else? What do you want? Like once they build the amphitheater with 20,000 seat auditorium, which obviously, Aura's got to be playing a gig there.
I cannot wait to hear what's going on with that because we want to be a part of that for sure. But I totally agree with you. And
sorry to ramble, but it's
ramble.
I don't know what McKinney's missing.
No, it's amazing.
Other than a chiropractor and a nail salon and a donut shop, we need more of those. For
and a car wash. Don't forget a car wash.
We really need more of those. That's what McKinney's missing.
Oh my God,
but
that's great.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something intangible about the city.
Well, you really feel it. If I can interject,
absolutely,
you really feel it at the chamber. Again, I've been a part of like similar. I've never been on a chamber, group before, and obviously, you're there to help grow your business and build your business and all that kind of stuff. But the sense of community that I'm sure you would agree that you feel in there is that everybody is trying to help each other.
That's right.
In these, being a small business owner is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
And the fact that, all these small business owners have, they're coming together to obviously to grow their businesses, but to support the community and support each other. Mm-hmm. It's just a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's great. Again, I know that my in-laws, they rarely step out of, McKinney to go dine. They try to give it their business. If they're going to go spend money on food, they love going to the square. I love the square.
Mm-hmm.
If I travel south of 121, it's different.
Yeah.
The moment you cross over into Allen, nothing against Allen. It's a nice little town. Not sure what it has other than a bunch of houses and retail and frontage on 75 and 121. It's the definition of a bedroom community.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's just something different when you leave the city limits of McKinney. Something feels different.
I agree.
So, and don't even get me started about Frisco. That flat, boring, corporate dystopia.
It's a different world out there.
But they've got the $5 billion mile and lots of tall buildings and the Star, and it's very fancy.
Yeah, it is.
And that's about it.
It's
the PGA and the Universal and
the Soccer Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I think they might still hold the title as America's Sports City. They got the most professional sports.
Well, I mean,
teams
outside of the tollway corridor, I mean, what else is there? No, I don't know.
I'm out. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yep.
So somebody else can try to be politician and be super nice, be like, oh, the region's so great. I love every city. They're all fantastic. It was like, I'm not going to be that guy. No, McKinney's the best place on earth. And then we got problems. We're closing 3 elementary schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
there are some challenges. There's lots of problems that need to get fixed and need to get worked on. I'm not saying it's a perfect place, but yeah. And so when you are thinking about where to grow your business, why McKinney? Why the McKinney Chamber? Because a guy like you, I'm just sitting across the table from you. Scott Michaels is going to be successful no matter where he goes. He's just got the zhuzh, as the kids say. You're going to be successful no matter where you are. Why are you here? Why did you choose McKinney to do what you do?
Because I'm trying to get back here again. It's kind of the nucleus is my in-laws. Really, my parents are split between Florida and Michigan still, and my wife Laura's parents, Ron and Brooks, are in the heart of McKinney, and like we just spend so much time there. And again, we lived in McKinney, and it was beautiful. We loved it, and essentially the only reason that we made money on that house. We bought that house essentially as an investment, and it worked out. But we bought that house to build the family here. That was what we wanted to do. And me, it's like I'm part, planning and part gut. And I was like, this feels right. I think I need to keep my family here. And the only reason that we moved really back into our rental property in Plano was out of necessity. I had a change in business. I was starting a new company, right?
With real estate.
Yeah, well, with the entertainment company first.
Yeah.
But I knew that real estate was going to be coming on down the road.
Gotcha.
And me selling that house and getting $150K was my seed money.
There you go.
That was my seed money for
That's
for
all
because
you
this was COVID time, right?
I built it myself. I didn't get any loan. I didn't have anybody give me any. I've never had anybody give me money. I don't want anybody else's money. It's like I don't have the sense of pride or the, it doesn't feel right to me unless I build the house myself or the bridge, even if I'm standing on it.
That's right.
Right.
There you go.
So that helped me get that, and it's taken about 3 years to build Aura, this now nationally recognized entertainment brand that essentially runs itself now. So I don't have to do anything for it at all. I show up on event day.
You have people for that.
Yeah, my wife manages all the sales, and she's an excellent expert salesperson, also a realtor on my team. And then one of my best friends in the whole world, Abby Joy, who is my vocal captain in the band, she manages all the musicians. She does all the staffing. She takes care of all them so that I can stay client focused, and I can show up on event day and just kind of be the hype guy and make the party happen, which frees up all this time for me to really now grow this real estate business, which I haven't been this inspired or passionate about something in a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's been centered around McKinney because again, we want to get back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally look at homes for my family like every single day. I want to be back at Stonebridge. I love Stonebridge. I used to live right down the street, Irwin Farms are kind of right up the road, so to speak, but we're looking for homes. I want to be on the golf course. Like I have my plan for the day, for the end of the week, for the end of the month, quarter, year, 5 year, 10 year. It's on the vision board.
Nice.
I know what I need, and I know what my family needs. And going down the rabbit hole here, I apologize, but
bro, you're a guest on a podcast.
I'm going to be 46.
There's no apologies.
I'm going to be 46 in April.
This guy looks so good for 46.
That's what I said, man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to give you 10 minutes to cut that out.
And he's got the energy.
If you told me you were 36, I would totally believe you.
You are a sweetheart, and I check is in the mail. So.
I'm sitting here, like, I'm 42, and I don't want to stand next to this guy.
Well, hey, I'm up at 4.
This is a very attractive man.
4 a.m. I'm up at 4 a.m. with my whole, I got my morning routine, getting up and I'm doing my visualization meditations, hot yoga at 6 a.m., get back to I have a whole thing.
You do the sauna and cold plunge thing?
Sauna, cold plunge.
Yeah.
It's been a while on the sauna, but I need to get back into that. But yeah, it's like I'm trying to explain this to my wife, and bless her, I love her so much because we are polar opposites. She is like, I'm just the ultimate like extrovert. I could be exhausted. I could be just dog tired and like walk into an event or walk into a room of 100 people. And I just like, I love that. It's my favorite thing to do is just be with people and be around people. So when I'm trying to explain all these, visionary style, like business ideas and making sure that I'm the CEO of my companies, I'm the CEO of Aura, and I'm the CEO of Rockstar Realtors, so that I'm in that catbird seat, so I can run these companies in essence to provide this thing for my family. 46 years old. I'm on the back half. I'm going to be dead soon. That might sound dark, but that is how I look at it. It's look at this guy. I love it.
Yeah. You don't have to tell me twice.
I'm on the back half, man. It's like, what are you going to do with this?
Memento mori, baby.
Like seriously, this is like business is fun. To be perfectly honest, I don't like money. I really don't. It's unfortunately a necessary tool, especially if you have a family. So unfortunately, I need some of it, and I'd like to have some of it. Because I've got.
Then you get to golf.
I've got fancy hobbies.
Well, your goal was $40K a year.
I know. I like to play golf. I like to play bougie golf courses. That's my weakness and that's my happy place. So, anyways, I'm really, I'm looking at every day. Like, and this sounds cheesy and it sounds passe, but I truly I'm looking at every day like a gift. And I want to maximize like everything that I'm going to get done today. When I leave you guys is going to be to support my family and get back to McKinney, right? So there's a lot to do.
Let me ask probably a really relatable question to a lot of the audience who maybe has never done a lot of the things that you've done. How do you deal with the challenges internally? Because every high motor, high drive person that I know, and you're talking to two of them right here.
That's right.
Everybody I know that's like us in those senses struggles mightily with perfectionism, with anxiety, with comparison, with imposter syndrome.
Sure.
How do you deal with those internal challenges of what if I fail? I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't have what it takes.
Great question.
How do you deal with that?
I don't deal with it anymore. It's dealt with.
Walk me through that.
I used to deal with it a lot. Not perfectionism, because I'm definitely not a perfectionist. My disc profile is high I. I'm high influence. If I was going to go into my other personality test, which I've taken all of, is that I'm low detail. I don't write my contracts. I have an office staff that writes my real estate contracts for me because I'll mess them up. Because my brain auto corrects. If I'm typing something, my brain will auto correct it in real time. I'm like, it's fine, it's good. It's not. I'll mess it up. So I make sure that I am only managing the things that I'm an expert at. I'm not after perfection. I love making mistakes. Making mistakes is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world because that's the best way for me to learn. Because as soon as I make that mistake, it ain't going to happen again. I'm going to try my damnedest, to not let it happen again. But that's my learning style. Go back when I was learning how to play drums when I was 6-7 years old from my dad. My dad would go, "We're going to work on this beat," and show me this, and I'd be like, "Okay, now he'll tell you this," and I'd be like, "Move! I need to sit down at the kit. I need to play it. I need to do it wrong so that I can feel what it's like to do it wrong, so then I can correct myself in real time." So perfectionism is not an issue. As far as again, I'm not trying to get woo-woo or anything, but it really, for me, it is come down to self-acceptance. This is who I am, unapologetically authentic. When you get me as your friend or your realtor or your band leader, this is it, baby. This is all I got is what is right here in this moment. And it ain't perfect. and it's a work in progress every single day. So getting myself to a point where I can basically like give myself love and go, hey man, again, you're going to be dead soon. You've got a family to take care of. How do you want this day to play out? How do you want this year to play out? And, you know, being kind about it, because things, you know, happen for a reason. And at the end of the day, your attitude and how you treat people, I believe in karma. You know, I don't care about what your religion is or what you follow. Karma is real. And that's if you want to get into the law of attraction stuff or whatever it is, and it's simple and it goes back to music. And why do all people love music? It's because it's vibrational. And it's also vibrational when you're kind to people. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile, right? So being kind and opening up the door for somebody, that's a gesture of kindness. And that selfishly kind of makes you feel better. You know, so I really just try hard to practice those things every day and really start that morning with a, you know, just a reset of going, you know what? It ain't that big of a deal. Anything that happens today ain't that big of a deal.
You know, when I look at, it's like,
sorry guys.
It's like, this
is on us. It's not on you.
When I told James, I was like, we got to get him on. He's like, well, you know, who is he? I was like, listen, like he is a powerhouse. You know, you have so much to offer there. But you know, a lot of things you said there. You know, when I think about, you know, I love that you know, that you accept yourself where you are. Of course, you've got goals. You're not going to stay where you are because, you know, it's, you know, every day, what can I do better? Or, you know, the mistakes that I made along the way. I think that's great for everybody to understand that errors will happen. But as a performer, you know that as soon as the beat drops, it's go time.
Oh yeah.
And you can't say, hey, wait, I missed that. You know, you gotta flow with it. But at the same time, you know, you mentioned it when you know, he said we had a short phone call. We had a long phone call.
We did. Yeah. I told Fred, I was like, I'm not letting you get away from me before we chat.
So we were like, yeah, just a couple of minutes. I think it was an hour.
Yeah.
That we were on the phone.
That sounds like a Fred thing to do.
But when, you know, and you said it then, and you said it early on here that, you know, it's all about the relationship. And, you know, for you, you know, just watching you, you know, and listening to you talk about, you know, even if you're dog tired, you're the front man, you go up there. It's not like, you know, I'm going to have a relationship with this crowd. I see you like trying to have a relationship with each person that's there, you know, with the goal of how can I make you smile? How can I make, you know, what can I do to bring the party to you? You know, I see that. And even when you talked about at the chamber, you know, said, you know, you came in and you're already making a difference because you're trying to connect people, which is critical when it comes to not just the chamber, but our community. And that's why we have the podcast, is that we want to be able to connect people with you. So, you know, I know that we're really
how long do these things how long are these
usually 30-40 minutes.
How much time is it?
We've been recording for 53 minutes.
Holy smokes.
But hey, it's a great conversation.
I owe you guys lunch.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
this is a great story. I love it.
I could talk about that topic forever. And I really appreciate your question on that, because I just think it's the most important question, you know, for everybody to ask themselves, because you need, you know, I'm going to check myself. You don't need to do anything. It would be a good idea if you try to love people, you know, but it's like on the airplane when the oxygen mask comes down. What do they tell you? Put it on yourself first.
That's right.
So you got to like try to give yourself some grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Fred,
everything will get easier.
You got to hit him with that last one.
No right or wrong answer. Who would win in a fight between a giant polar bear and a great white shark? They're in a battle to the death in a body of water 6 feet deep of infinite dimensions. There's no sandbar, no shallow end, no edge of the pool. There's no getting out of the water. Who wins that fight? Giant polar bear, great white shark.
How big is the polar bear?
12 feet tall.
12 feet tall. I'm going with the shark, great white.
Really? Why is that?
He's going to be quicker, more nimble.
How tall would the polar bear need to be to win that fight? You asked that question first, so I want to know where your head's at.
How tall would the polar bear need to be? I don't think the polar bear's got a chance if he's fighting bipedal on his, they don't bears like haunches. They get on the.
Yes.
I think the shark is going to take his legs out.
Oh man, I'm pounding.
Yeah,
I'm Team Shark.
Yeah, Fred is Team Shark. I'm Team Polar Bear.
However, though, because you say you have family in Florida,
Yeah.
So you've been all around and you've spent time in the water.
Florida crowd.
Oh, yeah.
man.
That's right.
Florida crowd always goes
Yeah.
Team Shark.
I want to say
Yeah.
that there's something about if you spent a lot of time around the water, or if you've experienced a shark, no matter what size, or you've seen those reports, you're like, I was just on that beach.
Mm-hmm.
There is something psychologically that says shark.
we got to run.
Yeah, no.
He is Scott Michaels. He is. We didn't even really talk about the real estate thing.
Rockstar
at all.
Realtors, McKinney.
Yeah.
Let me help you out. I'm here for you.
No. What a
Or if you need a
great-
band.
What a great episode.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this has been another episode of the McKinney Podcast, celebrating what makes us unique by nature. Catch you next time, boys and girls. Y'all take care.
All right, peace. See ya.
Thanks again for listening to and watching the McKinney Podcast. We drop a brand new episode every Monday morning. We'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts, suggestions, and guest recommendations. You can message us on Facebook or send an email to us at mail@mckinneypodcast.com. This entire production is a passion project for James and Fred and our lovely wives, Elizabeth and Allison. We're so grateful to have you along for the journey. We look forward to seeing you again next week and hopefully in person around town. That's all for now, ladies and gentlemen. Make it a great day.